UFC 315, Bilal Muhammad taking on Della Maddalena. This is MEKHI'S Money Making Plays. We're going to start the video out going through the lock of the week, my most confident picks on the card, my favorite underdogs, and then we're going to close it out with the parlays. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, and let's get this video underway. So recapping last week, we ended up missing with the lock. We locked up Cameron Smotherman. Had his poor performance, I gotta, be honest. Didn't really look like he came to fight. Series City took it to him. I should have, read that fight a little bit better, but didn't deter me from locking somebody who's either an underdog or a close money line. And there's some good value spread throughout this card. I mean, we got a lot of wide favorites, but the lines that are pretty close or are, an underdog, I like them. So, without wasting any more time, let's get into it. The lock of the week.
Modestus, the Baltic Gladiator,
Modestus Bukauskas money line. As it sits right now, he's about a -108 favorite. Just pulled up fight odds. And I understand why this fight is so close because, Ion Cutelaba, he does present a little bit of danger, but I like Modestus' IQ in this fight. He has a speed advantage. He's been constantly evolving, since that bad loss to Khalil Roundtree. He broke his knee in half damn near. I feel like Modestus is a better striker. He's going to hit him with the cleaner, straighter shots. Ion Cutelaba, he still has that brawler in him. He has been but using his Sambo background more recently. You see the finish over Ibo Aslan, but Modestus has really good get-up ability. He's the better athlete in this fight as well. He's got knockout power too, solid takedown defense, better footwork. His head movement is a lot better too. He won't be there for, Ion just to throw wild shots at. And I feel as though Modestus Bukauskas probably can land himself in the top 15. I feel like this is a fight to see, who's going to take the next step in their career. And I feel like this is a perfect fight for Modestus to show that he can be a contender. Not, a top 5, top 10, or maybe top 10. But as it stands right now, I think he could definitely end up in the top 15 with a really good performance. And I think he's live for a knockout as well. But we're not going to chase props on this one. Going straight for the money line, -108. Got it at a really good price earlier in the week too, if you guys been monitoring the line. But I'm locking Modestus Bukauskas. I got a lot of confidence in him in this fight. He knocked out Rafael Sequeira in his last fight. He had it was not really a nail biter, but it was a pretty tough performance with Marcin Prachnio, but he showed, the evolution in striking in that fight too. He was taken down in the 3rd round, but he also showed that he could get back up to his feet earlier in that fight too. So I've been more impressed with Modestus recently. If you look at Ion Cutelaba, I feel like he's a guy that he has to prove that he's going to beat you. So I'm willing to, bet against him. I did pick Ibo Aslan last time out, but looking back at that fight, Ibo Aslan didn't present anything other than, striking on the feet. And his striking really wasn't that clean. He was more so, it was, I called the fight pretty honestly. I said it was going to be, like a back and forth brawl. And it pretty much was up until Ion decided to take him down. I feel like the takedown won't come as easy, and he won't be able to submit Modestus Bukauskas in this fight. So I'm really confident in Modestus. I feel as though he can walk away with a knockout, but I wouldn't be surprised if he gets 30, 27, 29, 28. So we're going with Modestus Bukauskas money line. That is this week's lock of the week. Let's get into the most confident picks. First up. Well, I'm going to bring them all up on the screen now. I feel like that's a lot easier, especially for the edits. So, first up, we're going with Natalia Silva. Right now, she's a -255 favorite. I feel as though she's going to have a lot of success, striking from the outside against Alexa Grasso. Alexa Grasso is primarily a boxer, so she will be, heavy on that lead foot. Natalia Silva does like to throw those leg kicks, and with that lead leg being there for her, she's going to chip away at it for 3 rounds. This fight is also in a bigger cage. She won't be fighting in the Apex again like she did with Jessica Andrade, and Jessica Andrade still had, difficulty chasing her down throughout the entire fight. So Fighting a boxer, or primarily a boxer, in a bigger cage. She's quicker on the feet, has faster strikes. I feel as though she's going to have a lot of success in this fight, probably 30-27, 29-28 as well. Definitely see it going the distance, though, but very confident in Natalia Silva. Next up, we are going with Jasmine Jasudavicius. She's a really big, female for this weight class, and especially against Jessica Andrade. She has really good, takedowns. Her takedown defense is pretty solid too. I don't see Jessica coming into this fight trying to take her down, because Jessica's a solid grappler, but Jasmine Jasudavicius, she's pretty nasty off of her back as well. I think Jasmine is live to find a finish. However, I wouldn't bank on it. She did do her media day today, and she did say, she's not going to go balls to the wall and try to finish Jessica Andrade. She does respect her. She is a former champion, and she said that she respects that, she can hang with her pretty much anywhere this fight goes. I just feel as though Jasmine's takedowns are more relentless, and I feel as though that's going to give a lot of problems for Jessica Andrade, especially coming up. What is this? I think she has like a 4-inch reach advantage. Maybe I'm gonna pull up Tapology while I'm recording. I believe it's like 4 or 5 inches. Maybe. I know she's giving up a lot in height too, so it's gonna be tough for her to find that chin. Jessica Andrade does have a lot of power. What is it? 6 inches in reach. Yeah, so 6 inches in reach. That's a lot for Jessica Andrade to overcome. If you look at the fight against Natalia Silva. I'm going to pull it up. Natalia Silva only had 3 inches, and she was trying to close the cage off or cut the cage off against her. She didn't really, have a lot of success doing it. And Jasmine actually has a really solid chin too. So I can see Jessica, landing a few shots, but Jasmine has shown that she can eat some pretty good shots. She is the older fighter. However, she's got, less fights on her record. She's only 13-3, whereas Jessica Andrade, I believe this is fight number 40 approaching that. So she's got a lot of wear and tear on her body. I don't see her slamming her on her head like she did to Rose. Jasmine's a much larger female than Rose, so we'll see. But I do feel super confident in Jasmine Jasudavicius. Next up, we're going with Navajo Sterling. I wouldn't be surprised if he's, showing the patience again, but I feel like he will be able to find the knockout in this match. Ivan Erslan, he's not one to, initiate the striking, but Navajo will, capitalize on the instances where he does. I can see Ivan, trying to time a takedown, and Navajo either stuffing it and then finding the counter after that, or, just countering the jab. Honestly, he's a pretty quick counter striker. He's, he comes from city kickboxing down there in New Zealand, or excuse me, down there. Is it New Zealand or Australia? Wherever. I know he's from city kickboxing. He trains with Israel Adesanya and those fellas out there, Dan Hooker. He does not necessarily fight like Izzy, but he has that influence in him. So, Izzy likes to counter strike as well. I feel as though he will have some success in this fight, and I do see him landing a knockout, probably like the second round, but super confident in him in this fight as well. Next up, we are going with Jose Aldo. Like I said in the breakdown, I have not been impressed with what Amin Zahabi brings to this match. I'm not really sure why they booked it. Maybe it's just because they wanted another Canadian in, a spotlight type of fight. And Jose Aldo definitely, draws attraction. So they gave him to Jose, and I feel as though Jose is going to style on him. He's the better striker. I wish he brings back, the leg kicks, because he was probably top 5 leg kickers of all time. But Amin Zahabi, his striking is much slower than Jose Aldo. I feel as though he'll be able to rip, some big combinations to the body, chop at the legs, probably score. His power hasn't really been all that up at bantamweight, but I could definitely see him rocking Amin Zahabi. I wouldn't be surprised. He did rock Jonathan Martinez in that fight. I believe it was late in the 3rd round, but super confident in Jose Aldo. This is a fight to, get him back on track. and possibly throw his name back into the mix. Marcus McGee actually just got lined up with a fight with Peter Yan, so I could definitely see them throwing like a young contender, because Amos Zahabi's not young. I thought, initially I thought he was, but he's 37. But I could definitely see them giving him, a younger contender. Maybe a Montel Jackson fight is next. You never know. Montel does want to turn around pretty quick. I just saw that today. But like I said, Jose Aldo is going to style on him and give him a better matchup next time. And to close it out, we are going with the champion, Belal Muhammad. I feel as though he's just, better all over or all around. I feel as though he'll have a lot of success taking Jack Della down. Maybe, he stuffs the first three, but the fourth and fifth, because, Belal does not quit on himself. He won't quit in the fight either. Those fourth, fifth, sixth takedowns, he's going to start to feel it. And he's going to make Jack Della, really uncomfortable. And he's not, in, what's the word I want to say? He's not out of his element on the feet either. Belal could definitely strike with Jack Della. Maybe he's not as powerful, but he can definitely, hang with him on the feet. His striking has definitely gotten a lot better. I know he has been knocked out in the past by Vicente Luque, but that was maybe 6 years ago now? Let's look it up. Vicente knocked him out 2016. It's almost 10 years ago. Ever since then, has he been hurt? And Jeff Neal gave him the hands, but that was 2019. So come on. Yeah, ever since then, he hasn't really been hurt. The Leon eye poke definitely hurt him and rearranged his eye, but other than that, he's been pretty good on the feet. He got the TKO over Sean Brady. He was boxing up Gilbert. I know Gilbert only had one arm, whatever. He handled, Wonderboy Thompson, and then he handled Leon. 48, 47, whatever you want to call it. He still handled Leon. I feel as though, this title shot is a little too early for JDM. I am a fan of JDM, and the fan side would like for me to see him win. But as, calling these predictions, it's going to be tough for him to win. He does have a puncher's chance, but we just saw that with Diego and Volk, and I actually picked Diego. I felt as though he was going to, mix it up a lot more. He definitely didn't. He was just swinging for the fences. And when you got a guy who's got a puncher's chance against a guy who can do everything super well, we see what happens. So Belal Muhammad, and he's actually, the line has moved a lot. Everybody's been betting on JDM. Belal sits at a minus 163 favorite. So he's money lineable at this price. He opened at like minus 250. Yeah, minus 250. Minus 280. He was even minus 280 at one point. So yeah, line is definitely moved. Everybody's, banking on JDM to score the knockdown or the knockout. And not saying that he can't, but it's going to be tough for him, especially matching the pace of Belal Muhammad. He is pretty relentless. So really like Belal Muhammad in this spot as well. Next up, let's do the favorite underdogs, starting it off. Well, I'll pull him up on the screen again. We got Charles Radke, we got Valentina Shevchenko, and Jung Young Lee. Starting it off, we got Charles Radke. So the odds for this fight, Charles Radke he's a plus 145 favorite. I got him at a much better price if you guys been monitoring the line, but I'm gonna open up fight odds, right? This fight is favored to not go the distance, right? Mike Malott does not have a lot of power. His jiu-jitsu is solid, but a lot of people are underrating, Charles Radke's grappling ability as well. If you look at the Carlos Prates fight, he was definitely trying to take him down. Of course, he's the better striker, but Mike Malott doesn't present the danger of a Carlos Prates. Charles Radke is the one who presents the danger in this fight. That left hook is definitely dangerous. He's got more than a puncher's chance. I was just speaking about that with JDM. Charles Radke can bring this fight wherever it needs to go. But I believe he would prefer it on the feet. Mike Malott, he's going to try and pick from the outside. He does have a reach, or he only has a inch reach advantage, so I don't see that being super successful for him. And when they get, inside the pocket, Racky's going to be the one ripping the big shots. And if he connects clean with Mike Malott, I think he's going to sleep. So Charles Racky, super favorite, or super confident underdog. Next up, we got Valentina, and she is plus 118. I feel as though this is like a carbon copy type of fight. Manon Fior, she's pretty similar to her. She just her stance is, slightly different. She's more of that karate, where Valentina is Muay Thai based. That karate stance, you stand really bladed if you look at like MVP and Wonder Boy. But I feel as though the speed is pretty matched. I don't think she's, faster than Valentina. I know she has some solid takedown defense. I've been seeing a lot of different numbers. If you go to the UFC website, it's sitting at 61%. So a lot of people have been saying like 90%. I don't know where that number's coming from, but maybe in her last fight, because she defended so many with Aaron Blanchfield. But yeah, I'll screenshot it just so you guys know I'm not lying either. If I could get to the UFC website. Yeah, I'm gonna screenshot it. You guys tell me, what you believe. But yeah, I feel like this fight is super similar. I like Valentina's chances though. I feel as though she'll be able to mix it up a lot better. I do see Fior possibly shooting her own takedown, but I feel as though Valentina, her hips might be a little better. Her takedown defense might be a little better. I like her. Her striking. I feel as though she might land with a little bit more consequence. Yeah, so I'm gonna screenshot it right here. Takedown defense, Valentina 71, Fior 61. So I don't know where everybody's getting that 90%. Is UFC not updating their stuff? I don't know. But yeah, this is a really close fight, and Valentina being the underdog is really interesting. I get it; she's older, but Fior is only 35. She's 35, so it's not like she's fighting like a Natalia Silva. Now, if that was a fight, I would understand, but I feel like this is a similar fight, and I like Valentina's chances in this fight. I feel like it will go all 5 rounds, and it'll probably be a split decision, but I wouldn't be upset if I were to bet on Valentina money line and you lose it by split decision. It's going to be a really close fight. I'm not saying go, smash it, but I like her chances in this fight. Next up, we got Jung Young Lee. I cannot be confident in Daniel Santos. Him pulling out of the Davy Grant fight. He hasn't fought in 2 years. In the fight with John Castaneda, he was getting dropped left and right. Jung Young Lee has a lot of power. I know a lot of people have been giving him flack because he's a road to UFC guy, but his boxing is really clean. He's got solid takedown defense. He's got solid takedowns. Daniel Santos, he's pretty wild on the feet. So I can't see, an instance where the striking gets a little chaotic and maybe he lands something, but I feel as though he's not going to knock him out like Hyder Emil did. Hyder Emil hit him with like a 40 piece. I don't see Daniel Santos unwailing like that. The knees are something that I would be cautious about with Daniel Santos. He does throw them a lot. He knocked out John Castaneda with them, but I feel like Jung Young Lee will be able to mix it up a lot better with him. Castaneda did not, employ the wrestling as much as he should have, but Jung Young Lee, I feel like he's definitely more powerful than Castaneda. And then again, that Johnny Munoz fight definitely didn't age well. If Jung Young Lee were to fight Johnny Munoz, I feel like he would have knocked him out. So a really good spot for Jung Young Lee. When I wrote it down, it was a coin flip. He is the favorite now, though. So he's minus 120. Daniel Santos plus 101. So I expect that line to be going back and forth up until, they step into the cage. So we'll leave him in there for now just because it was a coin flip when I initially, pinged it. All right. Now let's move on to the parlays. So to start things off, we're going with the under in the Jung Young Lee fight, Jung Young Lee and Daniel Santos fight, under 2.5. Jasmine Jasudavicius money line, and then Navajo Sterling money line. That gets you about plus 204. Really confident in that one. Then we're going Aldo money line, Sterling KO, and Natalia Silva by decision. That gets you about plus 400. Then we got Beksat Almakhan money line, Jung Young Lee money line, and Valentina Shevchenko money line. Gets you about plus 550. Then we're going to, this is like a super confident pick right here, trying to sweep them all. We're going Bilal, Natalia Silva, Jose Aldo, Jasmine Jasudavicius, and then the under 1.5 in the Benoit Saint Denis Propolic fight. And that gets you about plus 650. Then to close it out, we are going with the underdog of the week, Charles Radke, and the lock of the week, Modestas Bukauskas by TKO. That gets you about plus 1,300. I feel as though both of those methods are definitely possible. I feel like they're probable as well, seeing as though they both have the striking advantage in both of those fights. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. This is MEKHI'S Money Making Plays again. Let me know if you like, the plays, if you like the underdog that I picked, the lock of the week. Let me know what was your favorite pick on the card, and share in the comments what you guys are betting on. If you want to share it with me, and pick and point, figure out what bets you guys want to make. But thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll see you guys for the weigh-in recap.